Welcome back to Lensless with Khandie Woo. I'm Lysandra, your favorite lensless stylist. In this episode, we are going to sit and talk to Monia Amore.
Hi.
Monia, how are you doing today?
I'm well. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. So I wanted to talk to you about your career, talk to you about being an artist and an entertainer, and I also want to find out about what you have going on,
Okay.
upcoming, and things that you've just, finished doing, and what exactly excites you about what you do.
Oh, okay, great. I'm ready.
You ready?
I'm ready.
So, first question, right? Your music explores relationships in a deep way. What experiences outside of romance have shaped your songwriting the most?
Experiences outside of romance. Wow, that's a good question. I think socioeconomic issues. I'll say relationship, not particularly romantic, but relationships. I mean friendships. I mean uh, working relationships. All those type of things. Those shape my songs. And I don't write with the intent of saying, well, let's pick a theme. Sometimes. Sometimes it's like that, but most of the time, it's whatever comes to my mind, whatever the feeling is. You know what I mean?
I like
Yeah.
that. So, pretty much you're inspired by life
I'm inspired by life and love.
and love. I like that. So, what about songwriting um, captures you? Like, how did you get into songwriting?
Oh, I got into songwriting as an adolescent. I was always on punishment, believe it or not. Now, I was not a bad child. Okay, I actually didn't do anything, but my parents were very guarded. Like they kept me very guarded, and then that was their excuse to keep me in the house. So I took advantage of the time, and I would write short stories. I would write. I was. I thought I was writing monologues, so I was writing. I was acting in the mirrors. I was singing in the mirrors, and then that's long story short how a lot of the songwriting came to play because I would go through little situations and little heartbreaks and things of that nature, little crushes. I'm like, oh my God, if he only knew.
Okay. What they say, turn your pain into purpose, right?
That's right.
I love it. So with now your career where you are now, balancing life while building your career. Can you walk me through a moment? Um, Actually, walk me through the day in the life of Monia Amore when you are preparing to go on stage. Tell me about that.
Ah, that's a great question. Okay, well, I'll tell you this. Preparing to go on stage. So we're already at the venue, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's just jump to the venue.
Okay, so we're in the venue and I'm in my dressing room and if there is one, and then I'm getting dressed and I forgot this and I forgot that and I forgot all these different things and now I'm like pissed off and then I need some water and is there any water in this place? Right? It's that type of thing. No, I'm not a diva at all. I'm thinking, I'm praying, I'm shaking it off. Sometimes I get nervous before I get on stage, depending on what it is. It's funny. I feel like I get nervous in smaller venues than in larger venues, if that makes sense.
Really? Why do you think that is?
I think that when it's really large, I feel like it's just lights. So you're singing to the lights. I feel like when it's small, I see your faces. I mean, you're looking at me and you're like, are they like this? Or you're like, you know, like all these
Right.
different expressions. I get that. I feel that energy.
Wow.
But I also feel energy. It's just like the abyss. You know what I mean? I don't know if you've ever been on stage at like a concert, like a Madison Square Garden or something like that, and you see just lights and cameras and you know, and that energy is you get in the energy, but you can't see anyone specifically, so you're not wondering in your mind, does he like it? Does he, you know, is he thinking that I'm trash? Like,
I could understand it.
Yeah.
I can understand that. And that's cool. So what is it that what do you take away from performing on stage? I know every performance can't leave you with the same feeling. What do you take away from each performance?
Great question. What do I take away? I guess it depends on the performance, the day. All those things count. What happened prior to me getting on stage? If I'm on stage alone, if I'm on stage with someone, if it's a large crowd, if it's a small crowd, like. But the one consistent thing is that is joy. I love what I do. I have a passion for what I do, and I will always be happy when I'm on stage, when I'm performing, even if I'm not on stage, even if I'm just standing in the train station or something like that. You know what I mean? I will always be filled with joy because I did it, and that's what drew me down this path. That feeling of euphoria. Some people drink and get high. I sing.
So you talked about your parents being really guarded. Were they in the entertainment industry as well?
My father was in the industry. He had a record. He had a group. They were called the Elements of Life, and they did some records back in the 70s, and he would always push me to sing, to, you know, my mom, she sang also, but in church, and you know, they were very talented in many, many ways, and I grew up, I had a very musical home. When, you know, some people, you go in their home and the main focal point in their living room is the TV. Ours was the record player. Like we had on our wall musical notes and images of people dancing, and the record player was the big focal point right in the middle. And we would dance. My mother and father would dance together, and I would just sit there and I would just watch them, be in awe. Like, I want to dance like that one day.
Cool. So in today's music industry, talent isn't enough. You need a presence. How did you find your voice? Not just in music, but in media and the way you brand yourself.
Yeah, that is great. Yeah, you ask great questions. How did I find myself in the way I brand myself? Just me. I'll be honest, and I think that as people, or I'll say for myself, growing up, I've always had like a certain type of magnetism. There would be all type of weird people that would just, you know, I could be in a crowd and somebody will come to me, excuse me. I'm like, can you tell me? You know, or there was always something like that. I could be on in an empty train car, and a person will get on and sit directly next to me, and I'm like, really? So once I learned to accept that and realize that it's a power, and realize that you can use that power for good, then I was like, I can bring this into my performing. I can bring that same magnetism. And don't ask me how. I just, it's a feeling. It's an energy, you know, which I'm assuming this is what these people feel when they are coming and sitting directly next to me. So it's that. And then I know that I like people. I genuinely like people. I'm a little skeptical of them, but I genuinely like them, and so I'm a kind person, and I think people feel that energy, and I, when you're performing, I think people relate to how genuine you are, or how they perceive you to be, and that's pretty much it. Yeah,
It's cool. So authenticity is key.
absolutely,
Always.
absolutely.
Always. What's something about your creative process that would surprise people?
That would surprise people. I don't know if it would surprise anybody, but I write a song, and anywhere I can hear the ice cream truck, and I'll write a song to that. You know what I mean? I'll be walking down the street. Okay, I'm gonna share a secret with you. I don't know if you're from New York, so you've taken the train millions of times, right? So I don't know if you noticed that there is a sound, a specific sound that the train makes every single time that it pulls off, right? And it's like a,
Yes.
like a, you know what I mean? It's like a, and when I would go back and forth to work or school or whatever, I'd be like, and then I would just create music from that, and it's like, I'm a weirdo like that, you know.
That's not weird. That's the heart of a creative. Like you pull from every element of your environment.
Yeah, yeah.
That's very, very cool.
Especially when you have no choice. Like growing up, I wasn't like, I didn't have, I had limited access, I should say, to like studios and things of that nature. So I would be like, you know what? I'm going to go to the park. I'm going to look at, I'm an animal lover. I love animals. I'm going to look at the squirrels. I'm going to look at the birds. I'm going to pull from that, listen to the trees, and, and create. And that's my safe space.
Yeah, it's in you. That's like me. I create for every reason.
Right.
Happy, sad.
Yep.
And everything is an inspiration for me.
Yep.
So I resonate with that. Your current projects. What are you working on right now? Like,
oh, so I have a new single out. It's called Stressed Out, right? The video is also out. You can see it at moniaamoremusic.com, which is my website. Everything is on my website. All my videos, my songs. And Stressed Out, the concept came about because of a guy who was, a woman is, when you're into a guy, and he's really just like playing around, you know what I mean? And when you're focused on him and he's focused on everything else, he's focused on everything else. And so I just said, it was something relatable. I can write about that. And we have part 2 that's coming out to it as well. And I think that it's enjoyable because you get to watch the video, follow the story, and part 2 is going to be even better.
so what's the feedback on Stressed Out?
We did pretty good. We just released it not too long ago, and I think we've gotten like a few thousand views already. You know what I mean? And our from the song, everyone loves the song, of course, because we've all been
relate.
stressed out, over something, someone, mostly, and they love the song. I get a lot of that. The radios and everybody is just kind of like, we want more. Now we want to see part 2. They
want to see part 2.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm looking forward to part 2 because I watched part 1 and I listened to the song. I even downloaded it. So really, really dope. What about your other song, At the End of the Day? That one is a nice one too. It makes me think about roller skating.
Yeah.
Like it's just that bop, that vibe. What was that song?
At the end of the day, well, I told you I'm a lover. I love, and I love to be around people that I love, that love me, and I love people who look at life through that lens, from that perspective, where we live in a society today, right now, that it's like everybody's so in competition mode, or they are always looking for the, I don't know, I don't want to say bad in people, but they always feel like there's some type of underlying agenda, if you will. And this is just in regular relationships. Mm-hmm. So I love when people just operate from a space of love, because that's what I do. And everyone can't understand it, and everyone's not going to get it, and, you know, but the ones who get it, you know. And so, yeah, that at the end of the day, it was about that. It was about, after all of the stuff that's gone through, after all of the trauma, all of the hurt, the pain, all of the confusion, anything that you love, you'll get a certain fire. You'll have a certain fire and ambition to work it out, to get it done, you know, to excel, to progress, and that's all because of love. You know what I mean?
So true. That's deep.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day. And that's a term that we use in Brooklyn.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day. You know, it's love.
It.
It's love.
I love it. So talking about that, at the end of the day, have you worked with many other artists in your music, like features?
I have a few features because I did my first single was called Insecure, and that featured an underground rapper. Excuse me, he's a battle rapper by the name of Murder Mook, and he's considered one of the kings of that. So he came through and blessed me on that song, and that was a banger. This still goes hard, like in the clubs and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. They still play it on the radio, so it, you know, that was a great experience, because it was just two people who had passion for music, and we just did it. There was no extra nonsense.
It just worked.
Yeah, it worked. Cool. You know, at the end of the day, my brother, Smooth B, he came through and blessed me. I said, bro, he said, absolutely, let's do it. Mm-hmm. Today. That's a great story, actually. I was writing it, and he was in New York, and we kind of linked up or whatever, and as we were driving, I was writing, and Boogie says to him, oh, you gotta listen to, I think he was playing it, and he said, what's that? And I said, oh, it's something I'm writing or whatever, and I was like, yeah, at the end of the day, right? And he was like, I'm on that. I'm on that. I was like, sure. We went to the studio right there. I said, ooh, we got to get in the studio. And I love how that happened. I love things that happen organically. You know what I mean? Because it's supposed to happen. Yeah.
I like that. That's cool. It was just supposed to happen.
It was supposed to. It was written that way, I guess.
So what performances have you done recently?
So I'm in a band called Leon and the Peoples with the actor Leon from like 5 Heartbeats. Yeah. And we recently did a show. We did a city winery in Chicago. So we did the city winery, which was great. Almost sold out. We did sold out last time we were there. But that was a great experience. Chicago is a vibe. Let me tell you, honey, they love it, and you know they was loving at the end of the day, because you know, Chicago house, and you know what I mean, house music and everything. Yes. Yeah, they was appreciating that. I also got to perform at the Cook County Jail.
Wow, yeah, how was that?
It was scary at first. I won't lie. It was scary at first. I was like, you know, just driving into it was like so many security things, and it was like, okay, stand over here, and I'm like, don't run over there. Like, what's gonna happen if we run over there? Wow. But it was really cool. It wasn't anything like what we expected. You know, we got in there, the guys were amazing. They loved, I mean, really, really loved it. And they gave us like awards and things like that. And it was just like you could feel the love. And they were so appreciative of people coming to even perform for them. Like, you know, they get locked away and people don't think about them sometimes,
Right.
you know? So that was great to put a smiles on their faces. And I feel like I missed it. Oh, we also did the news out in Chicago. We performed on the news. And that's how a lot of people knew we were coming and coming to the show and stuff like that. So we did like promo and things like that. We got to experience a little nightlife out there and dinner and things of that nature. So, I mean, it's really all just a blessing. Whenever I can put joy on other people's faces, it brings me joy too. So, and they really appreciated it. So,
Do you do community events as well?
oh yeah, yeah, we do a lot of. We do festivals in the summer. We do like I think we did Rise Up, right? We did Rise Up. This is something the mayor puts on for the cities in each borough.
Yes.
We do lots of stuff. We did I don't know if they're still calling it the African American. You know the one that used to hold at Boys and Girls.
And now it's at
The
part.
is it Brooklyn Navy Yard? Is that what that's called?
Oh, I don't know.
I think it's
AAF or something.
AAF.
Yeah.
African American.
Yeah.
Yeah. Charge into my head, not my heart. But it was a wonderful experience. It's like so many different vendors and just like a lot of just for the African diaspora, and it was just great to have something for us. And we did shows at Sony Hall. We did stuff with like Third World. We did stuff with Beres Hammond at what is the name of the theater? Oh gosh, in Long Island. We just did concerts. We did a bunch of concerts, and we do a lot of stuff like that. I also do, and this one is I'm very proud of. We do performances for the assisted living for the elderly, and we do that. That one is near and dear to my heart because when I tell you how appreciative. You don't get to see that often. People just being so appreciative. These are the forgotten. People stick them in these places and then they just forget all about them, you know? And we were able to come take them through walks of nostalgia.
Nice.
You know, they get to remember things and they get to, you know, they love on us and we love on them.
And you love on them. What I admire about people who entertain and sing is it's something that I've always wanted to do as a little girl, but I couldn't muster up the courage
Girl, just do it.
to do it, right?
Yeah.
But I express myself in other ways.
Yeah.
So what I admire about entertainers is being out there in front of people and just bearing it all. Bearing it all. Do you ever get scared? Do you ever get that feeling like
I think in the beginning I did. But like I said, this is my safe space. So I was very quiet as a child, believe it or not. I was to myself. I was quiet. I had friends, but I was very like the one in the back that, you know, and I had a lot going on. As a child, I had a lot of experiences that were not that great. And that was my, music was my, what's the word I'm looking for?
yeah, escape?
My escape.
Yeah, escape.
My escape. It was my escape. And so when I'm performing, I think I told you I used to perform in the mirror,
Yes.
and I used to sing in the mirror, and that's how I started. At like 3, I was like in the mirror, like,
Oh, young, young.
yeah. Yeah. So when I'm on stage, I pretend that I'm looking in that mirror, and then
Love it.
I'm able to bear it all, and I'm able to, and essentially it is a mirror. You know what I mean? It is a mirror because it's that's how I know it's what I'm supposed to be doing.
I want you to tell me about Quita the OG because you're telling me that you're quiet and
Quita
this
is
and
my
that.
sis. That's my girl.
Tell me about Quita.
Quita's my sister. She is so essentially she's a character that which a lot of people don't know, right? They think she's really my
A
sister.
different person. That's how well you play it.
Yeah, because she's part of me. She's just a different space. She's a different time and a different space, and she's essentially no nonsense, comedic, but she's also someone that you can relate to, that you probably grew up with or you knew from around your neighborhood, and everyone loves her because of that. You know, she's always telling all these outlandish stories. She swears she's the first to discover everything. She was the first rapper. She was the first. She was the first. She remembers everybody. She has stories about everybody, and she kind of gives you that the lady, the neighbor. You know what I mean? She's
The
just
neighbor
like,
that's always always knows what's going on.
What's going on, and that's who Quita is, and
That's
she
cool.
she's opened a lot of doors for me, actually. She's opened a lot of doors for me. So
How did that come about? The character.
COVID. COVID. We were in the house, and I'm very expressive, so even when I'm telling a story, I'll break into a character. Like she said, well, I don't know. You know, I'm one of those
She's just
people,
there.
right? So I was doing that with Boogie, my better half, right? And I was like, he was like, you should do that. You should like record that. And I was like, I'm not, because if you know me, then you'll know those things about. But you don't know me, then I'm just like, you know what I mean? And I was like, no, then you want me to let the world see her? And he was like, you should definitely do that because it's very relatable, and you need to just let everybody see it. Why not? So we had nothing else to do in COVID. So I was like, okay. And she's not the only character. I have like a whole bunch of them. And he was like, yeah. But then when we put her out, it was like Mania. It was like, it's Quita. They're still asking about her on the radio and,
Wow.
things like that. And so look out for more Quita because
I am. I'm looking
she'll
out
be
for
around.
it.
She's always around.
She's always around. That's cool. Do you have any advice for up and coming artists?
Authenticity is key. Stay authentic. People will have suggestions, but do what's in your heart. I'm not saying don't take any advice. I'm just saying you know what's best for you. You know what I mean? Yeah, that would be my advice. Stay authentic. Don't let anybody change you. The reason they liked you was because of what you were doing in the first place. So don't let anybody come and say, oh, I like you, but now we got to change this, that. Because then you get lost, and then it's not fun anymore. When it stops being fun, when it becomes work, then you don't want to do it. There's depression, there's all type of...
Yeah.
Anyway, stay true to yourself.
Yeah, because we don't want to lose a passion.
That's right.
For what we love to do.
That's right. Especially because of someone else.
So true.
Yeah.
How do you want people to find you? I know you said you had a website.
I do have a website. It's Monia Amore Music. So Monia is spelled Monia, music.com. Monia Amore Music, sorry, MoniaAmore music.com. There's show info, there's videos, there's photographs, there's events, there's contests, all types of things. And yes, come see me. I'll be waiting. Quita's even there. Come see us.
What about your social media?
My social media is Monia Amore. All the way, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, everything is Monia Amore. And Quita the OG.
So I want to ask you real quick though, how do you use your social media to benefit you as an artist?
How do I use my social media? That's a good question. I keep people updated on events that may be coming up. I might go live at an event. I use it as promotion, and then you come to my website and you can subscribe to my website, and there's so much information there, and you can find out things beforehand. Especially if you're a subscriber, you'll know things. You'll get things first. So subscribe.
Okay, so I want to thank you for sitting and talking with me.
Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate the vibe that you give,
Thank
the
you.
music that you put out. It's very, very uplifting, very relatable. And I know for a fact that when I get to see you perform live, I'm going to enjoy it, and I'll really, really look forward to it. So
Thank you so
yeah,
much.
continued success to you, Monia Amore.
Thank you. Continued success to you, and you're doing your thing with your glasses and your fashion.
Thank you so much.
Diva.
There's more to come. There is definitely more to come.
Khandie Woo. I don't have my woos on. I call them my woos, my woo-woos, right? I don't have my woos on today. They match my little boots and everything. But like I said, I forget everything. So. When I start making more money, I'll get an assistant that's going to make sure I have all
Keep everything in order, right? Thank you so much for joining us today on Lensless with Khandie Woo. We are wearing frames, dreaming $1 million dreams, and this is what it's all about, being passionate about what you do and being authentic to self while you're doing it. See you on the next episode.